Hey guys, welcome back to Off the Record, where we talk about whatever we want. And thank you so much for watching us on Patreon.
Yay! Patreon, cuz.
This is your special Off the Record.
We already know Kevin. Everyone knows Kevin. Real quick, I want to ask Tiff, what was your food trauma?
Oh, you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, is it interesting?
I was curious too. I didn't want to say
I'm
it.
genuinely curious about it.
Me too.
So in an earlier episode, you guys got to catch it on Just Kidding News, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just make it
talked
quick
about- we
because
talked
it's
about-
more sad than anything.
We talked about food
It's
trauma.
a very interesting thumbnail.
Traumas are usually sad.
Yeah, right? That's true.
Not always.
Food trauma is interesting.
Trauma? I've never heard of a good trauma.
Because me and Joe had a ton of trauma, and it became what happened?
Not that you went me.
Oh, yeah, the 5K, yeah.
You did, it got stuck.
Yeah. So me and Joe have a lot of trauma, and we have a much more positive outlook.
No. So let me help you out. We want to help you turn your trauma upside down.
I was about to say that, so I'll tell you the sad shit, and then you
Okay,
guys
let's do it.
your comedian
All right.
ways and
Okay.
make it funny. Okay, so when I was young, how do I start this? Okay, so
It's okay, Tiff. We're here
my
for you.
mom, like, you know, she came from a super poverty, like extreme poverty.
Like she shit in a bucket poverty.
No, in an outhouse, in a hole in the ground, kind of.
Oh,
yeah,
snap.
pretty close.
Buckets are nicer.
We actually,
Does she have toilet paper or does she have leaves?
I think eventually they got
Water.
toilet paper.
They probably use water.
Oh, the water we got out of a well in the front.
Really?
Front, yeah. So it was like my grandpa built this house, and it was like a shack. So she was really poor. So she didn't really grow up with a healthy relationship with food herself. So by the time I came around, I guess it was the same. And then my dad.
What's your definition of healthy relationship with food, though? So my dad grew up poor as fuck too, and because of that, his relationship with food is if it's edible, I'm eating it. So my dad will eat a lizard, he'll eat a possum, he'll eat anything. That's his relationship with food. Yeah.
Still now, even though he doesn't have to?
Joe used to live at my dad's house, and this fool would just make turtle soup out of nowhere.
Yep. Because he always made soups like on Wednesdays, and then he'd be like, hey, anytime you want, you know, just go ahead. So I'll be like, oh, when I smell the soup, I'll go downstairs and I'll pour me out some. One day I was like, something smells delicious, and then I'm like pouring it out, and then a turtle head pops out, and I just dump that motherfucker back, and I go back in my room, and I'm like,
You're not hungry no more?
no.
Yeah, so when you say poverty, it makes me go, you're extremely grateful for anything that you can put in your mouth.
Yeah, well, the thing that I'm saying though is because like now that my mom wasn't living in that environment, and she did have money to buy food. Like she didn't know like what healthy food to get, so she would just buy the cheapest thing. So it was always junk food. Like I lived off of like cup of noodles and cereal and.
Oh, so she didn't really learn how to cook and how to
she didn't
eat
cook.
right.
She was
and-
more of like
yeah,
the
yeah.
worker, right?
Yeah.
And then my dad was the one that would cook in our household, but he was never home. So like he would take off for days, and we wouldn't see him. So.
What kind of work did he do?
My dad?
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into
Is that more trauma?
My dad.
It could be.
Yeah. It's just a whole thing.
Well, your mom was studying and
Yeah, she
becoming
was
better, right? Like, cause it, yeah.
So she wasn't that.
Because there's a reason for her busyness. It was
Exactly.
to make the household better.
Exactly.
It wasn't like she's out there doing crack all day.
Which my dad was pretty much
Yeah.
that. So.
That's a lot of crack.
Yeah.
So he's a taste tester for drugs.
No.
Oh, okay.
They do need taste testers.
He did do. His business was in the illegal side of things, but
Oh, snaps! You know what's crazy? When I watch movies like mob movies and like Narcos and stuff, and they have like the henchmen who are like always protecting them. Like these guys, some of these guys just are family guys. And that's just the best way to like take care of your family. Everybody's not in it for like, oh, I want to be a drug lord. Somebody's just like, dude, this I couldn't find no job. This dude was giving me $200 a day to like stand guard here.
Or like farm some weed.
Or farm some weed. Like in every drug thing, it's not. It's like
It's just a
it's
job.
like capitalism. You exploit
Well-
the people you can exploit, and they really don't have many other options. So they got to take what they can get.
yeah, for sure.
What is Tiff's food trauma?
Oh yeah, she felt like she was going to some dark places, Steve.
I know.
Bring her out of the light.
Well, I feel like I'm getting deeper because now I feel like I have to explain what my dad did.
No, we don't have to explain. We just want to know where your trauma comes from.
Well, as far as I know, he wasn't involved with
This sounds
drugs.
pretty awesome right now, to be honest. That your mom had no food, and now you have cup of noodles.
Pretty sick so far.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why I bring up my parents' upbringing is because it wasn't a necessity. Like, it wasn't the first thing on their minds to feed me. Like, I wasn't really well taken care of.
Was it like we got to just have food in the house for Tiff? Not just like we need to make sure she's eating healthy.
Yeah, and then not even just having food in the house. Like, sometimes I just didn't have food.
Because the standards are different, right? So basically what I'm hearing is your mom had different standards.
Yeah.
She would go a day without food maybe. Maybe she'll eat once a day. But then because of that standard, she set those same things on you.
Right.
And since you live better than she does, she didn't see a problem with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that's the reason why
really
that,
insightful,
right?
Joe.
So then, but then the traumatic part that I really started having the relationship with food was because my dad, whenever he would come around and he was like, he would eat and stuff, he would force feed me. So he would like grab my head and like force feed the shit out of me, and I would be crying, and it was bad.
So he didn't do the airplane, he did a fucking...
What was he food feeding? Like cup of noodles and shit?
No. So
hard
that's when he would actually cook.
Got
But this
it.
was, so my parents split up when I was 7. So it was all like before I turned 7, like really young years. My
Formative years.
Exactly,
Yeah.
formative years, like the years that I started to eat solids and stuff. It would be like really unhealthy, and they would have me sit at the table and pretty much stay there until I finished my food. But I would fall asleep next to my food, and then my mom would like pick me up from the table and then like take me to the bed. But like I would not, like I would refuse to eat because I'd be forced. So that's the traumatic part of it. So
And how does that affect you today, would you say?
That makes you a picky eater? Because you feel pressure?
no, so then I mean now I like today right now I eat better. Like I actually don't skip meals as much as I used to. I finish a whole plate that I have, which was very rare before. I would just eat half of my food, but yeah, for my whole like I'm turning 30 this year. So
Hey,
And you look great! So here's the comedy part, right?
tell me the comedy part, because I hate bringing you guys up down. I'm sorry.
Because your parents
We
were
asked.
preparing you for a great figure in the future. They were making sure that you don't overeat, because that kind of shit plagues poor people. That shit plagues, especially the Mexican community, man. You guys like to eat a lot of sugar.
Yeah, that's
do
true.
they have Mexican people?
We like to eat a lot of fat.
They're more obese than America now, which is pretty
Oh, we
nuts.
do have
Really?
diabetes.
Diabetes is a huge issue.
And what they were preparing you is they wanted to traumatize you first with food, so then later on, you don't get fat.
Well,
Wow.
I don't know.
I gotta work.
I'm an ace Mexican,
This
by
is
the way.
hard. This one's a hard one. This is a hard one.
I felt connected to you.
Yes.
I really did.
My grandpa is half Mexican,
Oh, tight.
so that make me
Quarter?
or no eighth. Yeah. So viva la raza.
Yeah. That was good.
And I grew up in El Paso, which was great because
Pretty Mexican over there.
oh man, it was like 97% Hispanic. Then like 2% black. White people were the minority there. We like push them down the stairs and stuff. Steve, oh man, you wouldn't stand a chance.
Oh, but I'm pretty good at dodging you guys.
But the best part is we had Mexican food for school lunch.
Oh,
Hi.
Like taquitos and like menudo. I used to eat menudo.
You had menu?
Oh man, that's what I'm saying. Menudo goes hard. Pozole.
You gotta boil that shit for like 12 hours
I
straight.
know that now. I realize what much of a delicacy that was because I didn't know how
Mexican
much work went
restaurants,
into
you only
it.
get them in the weekend.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't all the time, but probably like once a month we had menudo for lunch.
Once a month is a lot of time.
Yeah.
And Texas is tight too because you get like the dopest Mexican food. That's how I feel about San
Yeah.
Diego. When we moved to San Diego, I had the dopest Mexican food, like all this.
You would think there's a lot of good Mexican food in LA, but there's not as much as you would think.
But it's different kind of Mexican food, because Texas Mexican food is different from here.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tex-Mex stuff. Yeah, it
Yeah,
depends.
it's Tex-Mex, and I think it's just the East Coast Mexicans go there, and then the West Coast Mexicans go here.
Is regional is Mexican food regional in Mexico? Like based on where you live?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very different. Where, like, if you go to a beach city, it's more like fish.
Seafood and stuff.
Mariscos.
Exactly.
Mariscos. That was good, Bart.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So you ate more of the East Coast stuff then.
Yes. Yes. Which was so good. I used to speak Spanish almost fluently when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Wow.
We just when you don't speak it, it just falls out of favor. Because in
Tell,
school,
like, if they're talking shit, you're like, what you say?
Yeah, can you still understand a little bit now?
not as much. Like it was like the first 6 or 7 years of my life. Like they spoke it on the bus, in the classrooms, on the playground.
So cool.
So I was just like, in order to fit in, you're like, man, this is what we talking over here. But then when we moved away from El Paso, you don't speak it, and it just like it falls
Probably
out.
the fundamentals are in there though.
Absolutely. Like when I used to work at the bank, I used to know conversational Spanish enough to do like banking transaction stuff. But when people get comfortable, they start speaking faster and faster, and then I can't keep up. And slang too is a little bit more difficult.
I heard now it's very dangerous over there with the kidnappings.
In Mexico or El Paso?
El Paso.
You know what's funny? I hear that a lot, but every time I go back and visit my grandma, it's never any different. Like, it never was really a high crime city.
I think that's always the news, because the news, they always take like one incident, they blow it up, it becomes a headline.
Yeah.
Like when people go to Mexico, like it's not cartels everywhere on the streets.
Yeah.
Or if they go to even like Juarez, which is a very crazy.
Yeah, that's right across the way from El Paso.
Yeah, it's really crazy, but people still cross, and it's still an everyday thing.
When we were in high school, people would go to Juarez to drink because you can drink there like 14, 15, 16. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes you get drunk and you commit a crime, you end up in a Mexican jail, but not much more than you would in America. So like living there, it's like not much crime, not much more than anywhere. I actually had more crime in my life in LA now than in El Paso. Somebody broke into my house here.
I witnessed more threatening. I had a more threatening experience with hail than I did with crime in El Paso.
The weather hail?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Besides his baseball.
Yeah, the white ice is threatening out
In
there.
El Paso, it hails?
Yeah.
Like mud of hail, it hails. Like I thought I was gonna go through the apocalypse. There was a fucking dark ass cloud, and then it seemed like there was a tornado forming and shit.
Yeah.
And damn, that shit was crazy.
I was reading a lot of the cartels own a lot of the resorts, so that's why they're like not fucked with.
Really?
They're like, don't fuck with my money. I say.
That's a way to go legit. Right. We went to a resort in Mexico and it was the best. They had porn on, so it was funny because I didn't realize.
I like how you said the best and then
Yeah, they had porno.
I didn't realize there was no kids at this resort. Like it just didn't click. So I'm just turning the channel and it's like, volleyball, the news, then just porn. I was like, whoa!
Kids can't stay there alone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They be jacking off all day. Yep.
Wait, but I thought you loved it. What was? But that was a bad experience.
No, it was a great experience.
I said it was the best.
It was the
And then
best resort
went to
ever.
porn, remember?
It was like,
But you used porn as a pejorative after that. The whole time after that.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what pejorative means.
Okay, but you've been saying.
I don't know it.
I was searching for context clues. I was like,
Pejorative sounds like a fucking spread.
I think what Steve is saying, it's
It's
like
his Irish language.
It's like saying like, so it had the best experience, but porn, right? That's what like a pejorative is.
oh yeah, got it.
Define
Because
it.
when you use it in a sentence, you're like, and then I'm like, oh no, the porn. Like that's pejorative. It's like that.
Oh,
Yeah. I understand Irish.
I was in Cabo San Lucas.
Because they had the same thing when we went to Cancun.
Was it a resort?
Yeah, it was a resort.
And porn?
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it no kids allowed?
I didn't even notice that there weren't kids until now that you're bringing that up. I'm like, that's true. There were no kids at that resort.
Was it Mexican porn?
No.
Mine was Russian
wasn't.
porn.
It wasn't Mexican.
It was the first
American.
click. First click was a anal bead with like rhinestones on it, and that's a heavy introduction when you're not even thinking. Yeah, I was just flicking through. I was like, whoa, it's a butt.
Is Russian porn where guys are punching girls and girls are punching guys the whole time? And then they fuck? Or
Just drinking vodka.
throw a chair at the chick and then she likes it and she's like, oh.
They're playing Russian roulette.
The one that we saw, it was like they're in space or something. It was like really, really, really bad.
Anti-gravity sex?
No, but
That'd
it was
be a
like
good porn.
fake space. So it was like you know how they produced space back in the 50s? How cheesy and
They produced a particular one in the late 1960s.
Are you a conspiracy theorist on the moon landing?
I think it's all a bunch of bullshit, yeah.
Really? Stupid.
Listen, I don't think we've ever even been to space one time. What do you think of that?
My boy, a friend of mine, is a flat earther, and he believes it's all Photoshop.
Is he real?
Your friend's a smart person.
He was on that Netflix documentary about flat Earth.
Was he really?
That
He
one?
really was. Yes, black dude.
Which?
Your friend's probably fun at parties too. That's a fun party trick, is to be a flat
The
earther.
whole leveler experiment on a flight. He flew from Georgia to
Wait.
South Carolina. He was like,
we
see,
talked about that guy.
did
Oh
we?
yeah, I think we did. I think we did. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
And what did he see? He's like, this is.
He saw there's no curvature of the Earth.
He's like, this is a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah.
Can we have him on?
Eyeballs.
He would love to come on.
I want
He
him
loves
on.
nothing more than to talk about.
Wait, when he was in the
Wow.
air, he didn't use his eyes to see that it kind of does curve.
No.
He had to go on the left. He's like, I know that it's curving over there, but it ain't true.
No,
Oh, because
exactly.
it's photoshopped, you said.
He said it's Photoshop.
And then the windows
NASA is just
Are messed with.
yes.
What about the weather balloon thing, where you can take a GoPro, strap it to a weather balloon, you can set up the atmosphere, and you can see the Earth? What about that shit?
He said it's photoshopped.
He thinks that's Photoshop too.
It's being intercepted.
Wait, how can you go so far out that you see the Earth is a circle.
the
You
weather
can
balloon,
see
yeah.
outer space, and you can see like some of the curve of the Earth. Yeah,
Yeah.
while it's like tumbling back and shit.
You
see
could
that.
even see it from this guy that did the free diving thing. You know how you went?
Oh, the Red Bull thing?
Yeah.
He doesn't believe any of that. He believes it's all Truman Show. Earth is just the biggest Truman Show. It's just a globe. And there's atmosphere in space, but it's not like, it's not in the sense of like space is all around.
You know their community's growing, right?
Flat Earth? Oh yeah.
It's growing. How is that possible?
I wanted to
It
go.
starts with conspiracy theories like the moon, and then like 911 was an inside job, and JFK.
What do you believe
You
in
just said
then?
you didn't believe it.
What is it?
The moon.
No, the moon's a bunch of bullshit. That's what I was saying. That one's a real conspiracy theory.
Why do you believe that?
Because I don't even think that the moon is real.
He doesn't even. You can't even keep a straight face.
What do you think of that?
It's a space, fucking alien space
I just know.
satellite, right?
I just know it's a bunch of bullshit. If I ever seen bullshit.
I know,
in my
like
life.
you guys don't watch Ancient Aliens. I mean,
course.
it's on the History Channel.
You know, though, the interesting thing about that is a lot of what we believe we're just taught. So like milk, you're like trained. Milk does a body good. Milk's good for your bones.
And I heard that it fucks up your
It
bones.
does.
It gives you osteoporosis.
The dairy industry just paid for commercials to tell you that milk was good, and then the bread farmers, I don't know what they're called, but they paid to lobby that we would teach kids about a food pyramid.
Yo, they fucking pay doctors to tell people that cigarettes
No,
are
they
good
pay
for you.
scientists off sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Steve. This is your point. This is your point.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That you start to believe that stuff, and you have no way to verify it. So if they're lying about this, what else could they be lying about?
Show
the
me-
man.
Show me an astronaut on the moon holding a recent newspaper, doing the peace sign, and I will believe you.
But it takes time to
But
get
you would
there.
never be able to know if he was on the moon or not.
I need to see the current newspaper.
You could do that at the Warner Brothers studio on a green screen. Take the same picture.
You seen those deep fake videos where they take somebody's?
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of them. Yeah.
Oh, you know what would convince me is if an astronaut was on the moon and he jacked off and his nut just fucking floated off, then I know for sure that's the
Well,
moon.
his nut would actually freeze.
Oh, what?
It would instantly freeze.
I don't know shit about space.
Oh, then it would burn up in the atmosphere, so it would never make it. You couldn't study it.
But that's what we've been told. Maybe our nut would go on forever, actually, instead of freezing. Because all we've been told is that it would freeze.
Yeah, it might just fly like this, and then the alien might catch it and then
What would
use
happen
it
to your
like,
dick as you're trying to like have it in the?
Can our skin be out there?
What, there's radiation poisoning.
I think you gotta jack off in the suit, and then once it's floating around in the suit, then you open up the canister thing, and then you kind of push the suit and you squeeze it like a zit, and then the cum comes out.
Oh,
That's a lot of work to test the curvature of the Earth.
But your skin's still exposed.
You gotta do like one of those.
You gotta have one of those chambers.
You
know?
Yeah.
In the suit.
Like Sandy's house.
Yes, just like Sandy's. You gotta have Sandy's house on your underwear.
SpongeBob.
I wouldn't know.
You go. You don't watch SpongeBob?
No.
we don't have a reason to yet.
Get a
Give
camera
us
out.
a couple years.
How come they don't have no shots of the camera on the moon just going like this and showing everything? Showing the Earth.
My
and shit.
thing is,
We do
why
have
we
that.
just went there for a little bit, and then we were like, all right, we off that.
Because there's nothing there.
Because we can't get back there. Because we never did it.
Wait, do you believe that there are rovers on Mars then?
Do you believe that the Earth is made of Skittles?
That's a flat earther believes there's not
bunch of
like the whole galaxy is a myth.
The rovers are not on a planet. They're in a soundstage, Tiff.
Oh, I'm
There
sorry.
really would be no way to prove that though, one way or the other.
Unless you work there and you're the one going.
Oh yeah. Oh, if you're on the inside, you mean?
People won't even believe you if you're
Right. That's what I'm saying.
What if you're seeing the soundstage? You know what I'm
Really?
saying? They
Like
put
the whole, like
camera on the
if
guy?
they drive me to a location, I see this big ass rocket, I like literally walk myself in there and I strap myself in there. That's all it sounds like.
Oh, you're saying if those
That's the only way we would believe it. Like if you're
But
the
not the
one.
rover theory.
But with so much fake news stuff, even they found that out, you wouldn't even believe that that's what happened. If they did like an expose on CNN,
There's so much fake news that when truth comes out, it just gets muddled up. It's crazy.
that's what happens with like, that's what Trump's whole point is, and sometimes he'd be right though.
Oh yeah.
Like that one, I'm gonna tell you one example. This is the truth because it's based on your timeline and how you view social media.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Remember the Native American guy that was beating the drum?
Yep.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, we all hated that kid.
Yeah.
We hated that kid, right? And then it turns out that from the other point of view, it wasn't as clear as that video made it seem.
Yeah, because he came up to the kid.
He came up to the kid, but the part we see is the kid and the guy, and they're already engaged.
Yeah.
And the kid's the villain.
The kid just had a fucking punchable face.
It was his face.
Yeah.
That's what it. I was just like, I don't care.
I know.
I don't
But
care.
he had a fucking face.
Smug fuck face.
It was the context at which it was the context that you saw the
If
face
I didn't
through.
know you,
Yeah.
and you had like, you had.
I have an extremely punchable face.
Yes, dude. That's my point.
I say it all the time.
Yeah, that's my point.
That's the thing that sold us. That kid's face was just like, I don't care about what happened.
Because if it was
before or
Tiff's
after.
face against that person, like she doesn't have a punchable face.
I disagree. I think Tiff has a.
Hey, you sit down.
I would knee your face. It's a kneeable face.
That's true. If it was Tom Cruise just standing there, you wouldn't be like.
I would want to punch his face.
Oh, you do?
If it was Will Smith.
No, I wouldn't want to punch his face.
Will Smith can't even make that face. That kid's face was like, I'm supposed to be here. This is my. He didn't even say a word.
Yeah, but you read all that.
What about Adele? What about Adele?
What about that Jussie Smollett guy? He has a punchable face.
Yeah. Kevin, I think we have insecurities, man. I think we're projecting.
We are for sure.
That's what it is.
Absolutely, I 100%.
How come everyone wants to punch my face so bad? Even me.
It's just.